All right, so let's focus on that story by Sharon Momanyi. It forms the basis of our big question tonight. We are asking, should Deputy President William Ruto step aside from office to allow for investigations?
Indeed, tell us what you think. This is a big story, big discussion tonight. SMS your yes or no response to the number 22155. You can tweet your opinions as well to at Ben_Kitili, at Linda Ogutu, and at KTN Kenya. The hashtag is #GRAFT Diaries.
Indeed, we'd love to know what you think about that big question. Tonight, let's focus on some of the recommendations that have been given today by the Director of Public Prosecutions. And I want you to put your attention here. I will move back just a little bit to give you the chance to focus on the Super Bowl, on some of the recommendations that have been given by the Director of Public Prosecutions. The first one we'll begin with is one that touches on 19 million shillings. It is an inquiry that was into allegations of embezzlement of 19 million by Nairobi City Council officials. EACC recommendation to charge the suspects accepted, and the suspects are already being charged in court. The second one that received the recommendation of the DPP is all the way in Kisumu. It was an inquiry into allegations that a Kisumu county official irregularly contracted an agent at a cost of 15 million for 70 MCAs and members of county staff who traveled to Singapore, Israel, and China. EACC recommendation to charge the suspects accepted and prosecution to begin immediately. Here's the thing. The County Assembly Speaker, that is Anne Odul, Leader of Minority Eddie Analo, and Clerk Nelko Sagwe were arrested by EACC officials over graft claims, and they're expected to appear in court tomorrow. The next case focuses on the EPZ. It was an inquiry into allegations of alleged misappropriation of 15.9 million grant by the Ministry of Industrialization to Export Processing Zone Authority. EACC recommended that this file be closed for lack of evidence, and that was accepted by the DPP. That file has been ordered closed. The next focus was on NSSF. It was an inquiry into allegations of irregularities in awarding NSSF tender for surveillance system valued at 244 million shillings. EACC recommendation to close the file for lack of evidence was, however, not accepted by the office of the DPP, and he has directed further investigations to be conducted on this particular case. The next inquiry was into allegations that a deputy county commission and a district clerk, Garissa County, misappropriated relief food meant for the needy and vulnerable people of Garissa sub-county. A prosecution is essentially expected to commence against these suspects. The next case that the DPP focused on, if you could go to the previous board, the next case that the DPP focused on touched on Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria. It was an inquiry into allegations that a governor swore false declaration in the self-declaration form in 2012, falsifying information. EACC recommendation to charge the suspects was accepted, and prosecution will commence immediately. We do not have that board now, but what you have on the Super Bowl right now is a picture of Nandi Hills Member of Parliament Alfred Keter and nominated MP Sanjeev Sonia Berdi. An inquiry into allegations of breach of Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya and the provisions of the Ethics and Integrity Act 2013. Of course, this happened at the Gilgil Way Bridge. It was a story, it was a video that went viral in just minutes after it was put up. Recommendations by EACC to charge the suspects accepted. Here's the thing though. Prosecution to commence once the two files have been merged and consolidated, and this case will now be referred to the National Assembly for disciplinary action against the two MPs. Apparently, there are plans to initiate appropriate mechanisms for the removal of the two MPs from office. So what we're looking at is two members of parliament who risk losing their seats. The other case that was focused on was an inquiry into allegations that an acting CEO, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, chaired a committee that approved procurement of hatcheries worth 200 million and further signed an addendum for payment, knowing very well that these were not approved by the board. However, this case is currently awaiting the DPP's decision. Last but not least was an inquiry into the alleged financial impropriety as the National Police Service Commission. This is also a case that is waiting the DPP's decision. And finally, an inquiry into allegations of irregular purchase of Kilifi Governor's residential house that was valued at 168 million shillings. So those are just some of the cases that received the recommendations of the Director of Public Prosecution. Remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta gave the now infamous list to Parliament that happened on 20 26th of March 2015, as he made his second State of the Nation address before both houses of Parliament. He insisted that leaders who were mentioned in this list had to step aside for the next 60 days. So looking at our graft count, now remember we've been doing this for a while, we have about 15 days to go. So the question is, are we likely to see more prosecutions happening in the next coming days? Gitili, we have 15 days to go.
15, just slightly more than 2 weeks, and we're seeing some action from the Director of Public Prosecution's office. They say that his team has investigated 25 of the 175, so good action from there. It's still to be seen how that progress goes.
Indeed. Thank you for staying with KTN.